Next, from Naperville, Governor Rauner gives an address on his reform agenda, job creation, and the need for term limits. This runs about 20 minutes.
Thank you for allowing me to join you today. Thank you for being business builders in the great state of Illinois. I know what I know is easy, and I know a lot of your clients don't find it always easy, but we're going to change that. We're going to make it better for you. I'm all in for you. Your success is Illinois' success, and together we're going to make Illinois strong and proud again. We're going to get this done. We're at a key turning point in Illinois' history. We've been going down a long, slow road of decline for decades. I've looked back 30 years. I can't find a balanced budget going back 30 years. People are complaining, oh, we got to balance our budget. We've never had a balanced budget. We either borrow from the bond market, we don't pay our bills, or we don't pay into our pensions. That ain't balancing a budget. That's misleading the people of Illinois. And we've been gradually losing our jobs. Employers have lost confidence in the state. Our regulations and our taxes are too high. We've got hostile bureaucracy and red tape, and we're pushing our employees out of the state. We got fewer jobs today in Illinois than we had 17 years ago. We got the highest unfunded pension in America. We got some of the biggest debt, the biggest deficits. And now we got the highest property taxes in America. And rampant cronyism, corruption, and patronage. Now, I've been in government now for about 18 months. I've never been in government before in my life. It's an interesting experience. You know, I've been a business builder, and I knew government had challenges. But however bad you think government is, it's worse. I mean, it's unbelievable. The self-dealing, the bureaucracy, the mindset of what's in it for me, rather than, it's amazing. Now we're changing the culture. I'm very honored. We've assembled the greatest team. I'm so proud of our team. We put in outstanding directors in front of, in head of our departments. Best team I think ever assembled to run a state government anywhere. We brought the COO from Georgia, the former governor of Hawaii, the head of corrections from Iowa, the head of the legal department for Mitch Daniels from Indiana. We've the head of children and family services from Florida. We brought stars from other states, as well as business leaders from around Illinois to help come in and run the government. Most of the people who come from other states within the first two weeks of coming to me, working in the government here, they come to me and say, Bruce, wow, this is not how government's supposed to be. That's not how we do it back in my state. And I said, I know, that's why you're here. We're trying to change that and get this government who actually is designed to serve people and serve taxpayers, not serve special interests in the government, or serve a political purpose. What I've been stunned by, I knew it was there, but I had no idea how much our government is designed for political purposes for whoever's in elected office. It's not designed to serve taxpayers or recipients of services. It's designed to advance the ends of whoever's in elected office. That's got to change. So we need 4 types of change. 4 types of change. We need political reform, we need economic reform, we need government reform, and we need education reform. That's a lot. That's a lot. But we're going to get it done. With your help, we'll get it done. In every state that's transformed itself and made itself stronger and better and more prosperous, the business community has gotten involved and made your voices heard. You have got a voice. You have a voice. If you exercise your voice, we can get these changes. And at election time in particular, we got election coming up. Get your voice heard. Spread the word. We need to get folks who are reformers into office. We got a big choice. Are we going to reform our system and go in a positive direction? Or are we going to vote for the status quo? More gradual, slow decline. It drives me nuts. I'm one of the most competitive sons of a gun on the planet. And Illinois, we should be kicking tails. We should be one of the fastest growing states in America. We got the hardest working people in America. We got the best location of any state in America. We got the best agriculture in America. And I come from a dairy farm family and a corn farm family. We've got agriculture, we've got transportation infrastructure, incredible city in the city of Chicago. We should be kicking tails. Instead, we're one of the lowest performing economic states in America, consistently year over year over year. And that contributes and helps create the crime problem that we're dealing with in Chicago and other communities. That deals with the demand for social services and human services because we got so many vulnerable families that don't have opportunity. And it exacerbates a problem. This is what got me into politics in the first place. We are the worst state in America for funding public education. Come on. Our children and our teachers should be their number one priority with our tax dollars. And we're the worst state in America for state support for K-12 schools. And we have the biggest gap between how we fund our low-income schools versus how we fund our higher-income neighborhood schools. This is un-American. This denies the American dream to low-income families. We have a broken education system. That's what got me into this in the first place. I've been a big public education advocate for 25 years, and my wife has dedicated her life. She left the business world where we met, and she's devoted to early childhood education for low-income kids. So when they're 2, 3, 4, 5, they're getting an education component in their child care, so when they get to first grade, they're ready to thrive. And these kids from very disadvantaged backgrounds thrive when they go through the kind of child care focus that my wife is dedicated to. She's now in 27 states with her not-for-profit. But we need the 4 types of reforms. Let me just touch. First, on political reform, it's the most important thing we can do because our government's not working for you. It's just not. You know that two-thirds of the elections, the campaigns going on right now for the General Assembly, there's no opponent in the general election. Hello? I mean, democracy doesn't work if there's no choices, if there's no competition of ideas and alternatives. We got gerrymandered districts that look like spaghetti noodles designed to keep in who's ever there and to keep out anybody else. This is wrong. We need redistricting reform. Even President Obama came to Illinois, came to Springfield last winter and said, Illinois needs redistricting reform, America needs redistricting reform, so these are not partisan gerrymandered districts. He's correct. We need redistricting reform. And the courts threw it out said they couldn't put it on the ballot. And I had no idea how much our judiciary is part of our political process in Illinois. They're elected, they're conflicted, they're in the pensions, they're in the healthcare system. They get worried about who's going to, knock them out of office when they're up for re-election. So they're in the system. So I thought naively we could get the voter referendum, get it on the ballot, so I just said no. I thought 2 years ago when I ran, I've always believed in term limits. I don't think anybody should stay in office more than 8 years. That's my personal belief. And when George Washington was our founding president, he could have been president for life, like what happened in virtually every other country. Hey, yeah, thanks for electing me. I don't need that election stuff anymore. I'll just be here. Well, George Washington said no. He controlled the army. He could have done anything he wanted. He said, no, I'll be a public servant. I'll work for 8 years, and then he said, that's enough. Then he left voluntarily. He said, let other leaders do this. This should be a volunteer thing, and then somebody else should come and let other leaders emerge, other ideas become part of the process. That set a tone that we need in America. I think we should have term limits, and we got 600,000 signatures 2 years ago. Court said, no, can't go on the ballot. And they just said, for redistricting reform, no, can't go on the ballot. And what they've said is, well, it can go on the ballot if the General Assembly puts it on the ballot. Hello. So, I'm traveling the state. We got to hold these individuals accountable. Put it on the ballot. Let the people's voice. You should be able to decide. Vote it up or down. You want redistricting? If you don't, fine. Vote it down. But you should have the voice. You should decide. And I can tell you this. One of the reasons everybody's scared of it is 80% of Democrats, 80% of Republicans want term limits and redistricting reform. The people want it. This is a people's initiative. This is not any political group or any party. People want this. And boy, do we need it. Now being in government, I can see how much we need it. So this is the time. Everybody in this election, you can say, when somebody's asking for your vote, or you're talking to a candidate, you're talking for, a General Assembly member, are you going to sign a pledge? Or are you going to commit? Will you put term limits and fair maps on the ballot so we can have a vote on it, or not? Yes or no? Don't go, maybe, I don't know. Yes or no? If you say no, you're not a reformer. You're part of the problem. Let's hold some of these folks accountable. We can begin to create some pressure. So, political reform. Second thing, we need economic reform. We've got red tape and regulations that are hassling our businesses. You guys suffer from it. I was honored to sign 2 bills that were good for you guys and good for, we got rid of some of the excess fees on impounded cars. We could block some of the excessive fees that fire departments charge. I'm trying to reduce the regulatory burden and the way that government costs go up as much as I can. And boy, it's tough, and we have a supermajority against us. But I'm trying to cut here, limit there, and try to do everything I can. We got to get the cost of government down and the bureaucracy off the backs of businesses. Have to do it. So the biggest thing I'm trying to change is workers' comp costs. In Illinois, workers' comp is driving our manufacturing base out of the state. We have some of the highest workers' comp costs in America. It's the #1 regulatory problem pushing our businesses out of state. We also have other labor regulations that are too tough. We've got our tort system, our liability costs, our liability insurance is too high. We got to get tort reform, and we're pushing that very aggressively. You know, Illinois should be so much stronger than Texas, so much stronger than Tennessee on economic growth. And you know the #1 state where our jobs are going? You guys know? Indiana. Come on. They ain't going there for the weather. I mean, come on. We should be kicking it, you're kidding me. And it's because the regulations there and the property taxes there are so much more reasonable. They're so much more pro-growth. And I've talked to a number of companies. They've just slid 20 miles across the border from the western burbs, south burbs of Chicago, and the south side of Chicago, where we need more jobs. They just slide over to northwest Indiana. Workers' comp and property taxes. We've got to change the regulatory burden on business. Third priority, government. Government itself has to change. We've got 7,000 units of government in Illinois. Did you guys know this? Way more than any other state in America. I'm sure you're stunned by that. 7,000. The #2 state behind us has 2,000 units of government fewer than us. Come on. And these government entities, they have taxing authority, many of them, not all. They have pensions, they have patronage, they have cronyism. There's somebody's, political little fiefdom. And it's ridiculous. So we've got to streamline and government consolidation. We've got to get rid of these unfunded mandates. Springfield sends all these mandates down on local governments. You have to do this, you have to do that, you can't do this, you can't. And they don't pay, Springfield doesn't pay for it. It puts huge burden on our local governments, huge burden. So we've laid out a plan. We've got reforms around unfunded mandates and government consolidation. We also have to reform our pension system. And just last week, the Teachers Retirement Board said, well, we're not getting enough return in the pensions, so we're changing our assumptions, and that means in the state budget, you're going to have to spend more than $450 million next year to put more money in the teachers' pension. So there you go. We've already got an unbalanced budget, and now they just added $450 million more annually that we got to put into the pensions. Not sustainable. The pension system is broken. Now, we have to honor historical commitments. We don't take away or reduce somebody's benefit they've accrued and paid it so far, even though it was not fair when we started. But the prior politicians made these deals. We got to, the deal's a deal. But going forward for new hires, going forward for new work, future work, we can have different deals. We need good retirement, but taxpayers don't have the kind of retirement that these in the public sector. Oh my goodness. And a lot of these folks have 2 pensions, 3 pensions, guaranteed 3% compound COLA, whether there's inflation or not. You get salary for life with 3% escalators. Retire in your 50s. I mean, come on. It's not sustainable. It's not fair. So we got to change the government, and we're pushing. We got a plan. It's all laid out. We got it in bill form. And then the final thing is education. Now, I'm very personally passionate about education. We need to reform our education system. It's not properly funded. It's inequitably funded. And there's no real accountability. And the good news is our ISAT is gone, our Illinois Standardized Test. That was a travesty. That was the dumbest, lowest state standardized test in America, rigged by the bureaucrats and the teachers union. And they dummied it down 3 times over the years to make it look like our schools were doing better when they weren't. The cut scores got manipulated down. It was a rigged system. We should have the best schools in America. There's no reason that we can't have the best schools in America in every neighborhood, regardless of income of the neighborhood. We can do this. We can do this. Chance at the American dream. We need high quality education, K to 12, And we've got to make sure that we don't just say, well, everybody's got to go to a four-year college. Not everybody's can or should go to a four-year college, but everybody deserves a good career. And I'm not a big fan of the European economic model, but one thing that Germany and other countries do way better than us, they have a high-quality dual track. You can choose the professional college career track to go be a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, or whatever, or you can be highly trained and highly skilled as a maintenance technician, as a welder, as a service, and we don't do this in Illinois the way we should. We should have high-quality programs in high school, starting freshman year in high school, to train people for the jobs that are available. We have a shortage of welders. We have a shortage of maintenance technicians. We have a shortage, and these are jobs, these aren't minimum wage jobs. People can make 45, 50, 60, 70 grand. And someone can do it right out of when they're 18, 19 years old, coming right out of school. And if they saw that as a path for themselves, maybe they wouldn't be so subject to the recruiting of the gangbangers. I mean, we can do this. People's got to see a future and have the education to see where they can take advantage of this future. We've got to change our education system and make it our priority for our tax dollars. Get the money out of the government bureaucracy, the wasteful stuff, and put it into our schools with our teachers in the classroom, and have excellent schools throughout the state. We can do this. We can do this. Now we're coming to a key point. We've been battling. I'm living dog years. It's only been 18 months I've been there, but I feel like I've been there for 20 years. My joke is, when I started this job, I was 6'6" and had a full head of hair. I mean, I got I'm like, oh man, this is tough. But we're changing the system. We've already cut $800 million out of operating costs of the government. And we've gotten new deals with 18 of the government unions. We're the most unionized government in America. Many of our departments, 99%, 97% union. The management's in the union. And they set up the work rules and the overtime to go into the pension so to maximize. Whoa. And I won't go through, and the layers of bumping. You can't fire anybody, unless they committed murder and they got blood on their hands and they have 12 witnesses. And even then you'll be sued, and even then you'll probably lose. I mean, you can't. And if you do fire somebody or you have a slot, there's 6 layers of bumping. You got to move up 6 people and go down to the bottom before you can get anybody up. It's an unbelievable system. I have to get 6 permissions just to turn on a light switch. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. But we put in new contracts that totally more flexible with 18 of the unions. And I said, the union said to us, well, we want $3 billion more in pay over the next 4 years. And I said, we can't afford it. Not going to do it. I said, no salary increases for the next 4 years, because we can't afford salary increases right now. We have the highest paid state employees in America, as a sidelight. And I said, but I'll pay you bonuses. I want you to make more. But I'll give you a percentage of every tax dollar that you save. You save taxpayers $1 in your department, I'll give you 10 cents of that dollar. Give you guys bonuses every way going forward. And a lot of the state employees go, yeah, I know how to save money. And they do know how to save money. There's a lot of money to be saved. The union bosses, nope, we don't do that. Seniority only. No. So we're having a little bit of a, little disagreement. We'll work it out. We're at an impasse, but we'll get it done. But 18 of the unions have agreed, and that's a culture change. Incentive pay, merit pay, not just seniority pay. It's a big deal, big culture shift inside the government. And we're privatizing, not privatizing in the sense of just shutting it down in government, but we're forming partnerships with private sector. We're forming a partnership with businesses to streamline and modernize our Department of Commerce, do what other states have done so we can recruit more businesses effectively. We are forming a private foundation that is completely owned by the business community and philanthropists in agriculture so we can fix up our fairgrounds so taxpayers don't have to pay. We're completely raising private money to fix up the governor's residence where my wife and I live now. So we don't want to put the burden on the taxpayers. We're going to fix up our fairgrounds. We're going to fix up the governor's residence. We're going to fix the Department of Commerce so we're more effective in recruiting businesses. And we're forming public-private partnerships to expand our highway network. We can have private money completely expand our lanes and do flexible tolling so the investors can get money, but it's incremental growth, and taxpayers don't have to fund the money to build the new lanes on I-55 and other parts of the state. So the big transformation's underway. It's very exciting. It's it's hard, but we're getting there. And your support is critical. That's why I was so excited to come and say thank you for building business. The number one thing we got to do is help you guys and help the business community grow. The whole key to solving our problems is economic growth. Everything else is contingent on that. We won't solve any of the other problems if we don't have strong economic growth. So helping you guys grow is what it's all about. This is a big election. Vote. Tell your friends to vote and ask the question, whether you're Democrat or Republican. I'm a free market Republican. My wife's a Democrat. Nobody's perfect. I love her anyway. We got, this is not about Democrat or Republican. This is about reform or the status quo. We got to get reformers into office. People who say, we're going to do the right thing for the people of Illinois, change the trajectory, grow again, become prosperous. We can have a great future, proud, prosperous here in the great state of Illinois. This is our home. Home's worth fighting for. We're fighting for the future of our home here. God bless you all. Have a great conference. We'll look forward to seeing you again. Thanks very much.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of Illinois state government and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois.